Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take, a whole stack of source material, articles, notes, sometimes even scripts like today, and we just pull out the really important stuff, the key insights, just for you. And today, wow, we are strapping in for a really wild ride. We're doing a deep dive into, the heart of a town that's already been turned upside down. Riverdale.
Yeah.
Specifically, we got the script for Chapter 4 right here. So we're getting this amazing look behind the curtain.
It's fantastic.
Think of it like we're reacting to this raw text, almost like we're seeing these twists and turns unfold for the very first time.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and guess, what happens next.
And Riverdale at this specific moment, it's absolutely reeling. Jughead's narration, it just nails it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He paints this picture of a town once wholesome and innocent, but now it's forever changed by the mysterious murder of Jason Blossom on the 4th of July.
Chilling.
It really is. He even says Riverdale's becoming more like Salem during the witch trials, with neighbor suspecting neighbor. It's this pervasive suspicion.
Wow.
So it's not just about one murder. It's about this collective trauma, this massive loss of innocence. Jughead points out Jason's death wasn't the first casualty Riverdale suffered, nor would it be the last.
Right.
So we're not just looking at plot points from the script, we're really digging into the soul of this town in crisis. It's already riddled with secrets, these forbidden relationships bubbling up. It's intense.
That's such a key thing to remember. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. We are going to dissect this incredibly complex, sometimes kind of sinister web of relationships, all the hidden secrets, and the truths that are just starting to crawl out into the open in Riverdale. We want to go way beyond just, what happens on the surface. We want to really understand the currents shaping this town, shaping these characters.
Yeah.
And having the script is it's such a cool opportunity to explore why characters do what they do, the ethical muddles they get into, these plot twists, almost like we're reading it hot off the press.
Yeah.
It lets us not just react, but really anticipate where things might be heading for Archie, for Betty, for the whole town.
Precisely. And that's where the real digging happens. When you've got a raw script like this, you absolutely have to scrutinize every little detail. You got to connect things that maybe don't seem connected at first.
Right.
And you have to constantly think about the long-term implications of what everyone's doing, what they're revealing. We're going to delve into the psychology, Why are they acting this way? Look for those little hints that might foreshadow stuff later on and unpack the big confessions that totally change how we see things.
Yeah.
So we really want you, the listener, to think critically with us. How does this stuff lay the groundwork for what's coming? What deeper, darker truths is Riverdale still hiding? So let's really unpack this thing. The unraveling of a forbidden romance. Archie and Miss Grundy.
Okay, let's just jump right into this foundational secret, because honestly, it feels like the pebble that starts this massive ripple effect across Riverdale. We found out early on, Archie Andrews and his music teacher, Miss Grundy, they were down at Sweetwater River. And not just any time, but 6 a.m. on the 4th of July.
The exact morning Jason Blossom went missing.
Exactly. And then they hear a gunshot in distance. So this isn't just like a secret meeting. It's this pivotal, incredibly incriminating moment.
Oh, yeah.
And the pressure they felt immediately, huge, which leads to that massive lie. Archie tells Sheriff Keller saying he was alone. They both knew it. The script even says it outright. How would we explain why we were together at 6 a.m. on the 4th of July?
Right, the central dilemma.
This silence, this shared secret, it's not just covering up an affair. It casts this huge, dark shadow over Archie. Potential complicity. It yanks him straight into the murder mystery, whether he wants to be or not.
And the impact on Archie, it's immediate, it's profound. It really shows you some core things about him right away. He carries this, you can almost feel it, this guilt. He admits it to Betty later, right? We heard what we heard, and afterwards we didn't do anything.
Yeah, that line really sticks with you.
And it wasn't just a lie to the cops. He lied by omission to his own dad, Fred, someone he clearly looks up to. So right away, Archie's in this really shaky moral spot. His choice to protect Miss Grundy. And you have to wonder, is it infatuation? Is it some kind of misguided hero thing? Over just being honest, it ties him directly to the murder just by being there.
Yeah.
And it definitely makes Mrs. Grundy look suspicious from the get-go, especially when Dilton Doyley later pipes up saying he saw Miss Grundy's car by the river's edge.
Oh, right, Dilton.
You gotta ask, right, if they had just told the truth then and there, how different would things be.
Totally different ball game, maybe.
This moment, it establishes Archie's loyalty, sure, but also his maybe naivete, his tendency to act on emotion, not logic. And those traits, they're going to define his journey and honestly probably get him into more trouble.
Seems like.
The writers are clearly using this as the first big crack in Riverdale's perfect facade. It shows the adults, the ones who are supposed to be the moral compass, are living these secret, sometimes dangerous lives, and their hidden stuff, it's dragging the kids right into this ethical mess.
Right. And then enter Betty Cooper, our friendly neighborhood Hitchcock blonde, as Jughead calls her. She steps up, not just as, the concerned friend, but as this budding detective.
Yeah, she really does.
Betty, the perfect girl next door, is described as just wrestling with the knowledge that her best friend, Archie Andrews, was caught up in a forbidden romance. Her dear diary entry lays it all out for us, the audience. Sheriff Keller doesn't know what I know. She knows Grundy was at the river. She knows Archie was there, so they could have been there together.
Connects the dots immediately.
It's not just her being worried. This is the start of a full-on investigation. And it seemed driven by real concern for Archie, even though he's begging her, let this go.
Yeah, he really wants her to drop it.
It says so much about Betty, though. Her loyalty is fierce, but there's also this determination that feels like it's bordering on, obsession, maybe.
Yeah.
It definitely hints at a side of Betty we're just starting to see.
Her methods are fascinating, aren't they? They really show how smart she is, how loyal she is, but they also, they definitely stray into some ethically gray areas.
Oh, sure.
First, you've got that direct confrontation at Pops. She pins Archie down, almost clinically. Are you and Miss Grundy, together? Romantically?
Yeah, no wiggle room there.
And he cracks, right. He admits, we are together. But then her methods just escalate like crazy. She goes full cyber stalking. The script uses those exact words, the deep web, the dark internet.
Whoa. Okay, that's intense for Betty.
Right. It immediately signals this darker, maybe more illicit side to her search for the truth. And what she finds, it's shocking. Grundy's online life, Facebook, LinkedIn, all created 1 year ago.
Just 1 year.
Yeah. Betty calls her a ghost, says there's no record of her before that, and then the kicker. The only Geraldine Grundy she could find was a woman who died 7 years ago.
Oh my God. Okay, so fake identity. Huge red flag.
Massive red flags. It completely blows up the image of the kind, supportive teacher. The narrative here is showing Betty as the real brain, the one putting the pieces together when no one else is.
Yeah.
And then when Mrs. Grundy herself later admits she taught not just Archie, but also Tomoko Yoshido and Jason Blossom last year.
Jason Blossom.
Right. It adds this other layer, this really unsettling connection to the murder itself. It makes you wonder, was Grundy being at the river just a coincidence? Or something more?
Okay, this is where it gets really juicy.
Yeah.
And the tension just cranks way up. Betty's totally determined right
Yeah.
now. And Veronica, she's kind of drawn into this sense of adventure, this loyalty to Betty.
Yeah, the beginning of that dynamic duo.
And it leads to this huge moment, breaking into Mrs. Grundy's car. Betty, channeling her inner detective, uses a trick she learned from the Nancy Drew Detective Handbook, a bobby pin, to pick the lock.
Classic.
You can just feel the suspense, can't you? Them searching the car, knowing the stakes are getting seriously high. It feels like a classic teen detective move. But in Riverdale, it always feels, a bit darker.
And the payoff. It's massive. It completely shifts the whole story from just, a scandalous affair to potentially a full-blown criminal thing.
What do they find?
2 huge pieces of evidence. First, an ID, but with the name Jennifer Gibson.
Jennifer Gibson. So Grundy isn't Grundy.
Exactly. Definitive proof of the fake identity. This isn't just a teacher messing around anymore. This is someone living a lie, hiding a past.
Okay, and the second thing?
Second, and this is the big one, a gun.
A gun? No way.
Yes, a gun. The implications just explode. Veronica's reaction kind of grounds it in reality. It sounds like jail time to me. Illegal.
Yeah, seriously.
And Betty, she immediately connects it all back to Jason's murder. She confronts Archie, basically laying out the case. Archie, what if she had something to do with Jason's murder? She taught him, she made you lie about him, we know she was at the river, she has a gun.
Wow. That's huge.
It's a massive turning point in the narrative, and it really makes you, the listener, stop and think, right, how does finding a gun in the car of a teacher who's having an affair with a student using a fake name, how does that instantly change everything?
Completely changes the game.
Yeah, it totally flips the script from just scandalous affair to something potentially way more sinister, way more dangerous.
Yeah.
It's the first really solid piece of evidence that the secrets in Riverdale aren't just about personal drama, they could actually be lethal.
So all this pressure from Betty's digging, it finally pushes Archie to confront Mrs. Grundy. He goes right at her. Is your real name Jennifer Gibson? Who are you, and what are you really doing here?
He demands answers.
Yeah. And then comes her big confession. It's emotional. It's clearly designed to make you feel for her. She says she was in a bad relationship, married to a guy who was drunk and with a temper.
Okay.
She talks about ending up in the emergency room, broken ribs and a shattered collarbone, just awful stuff, which led her to leave, get divorced, change her name to Geraldine Grundy, and move to Riverdale for a fresh start.
Whole new life.
And she even says, I met you, kind of implying Archie was this beacon of hope after all that trauma.
Okay, that confession. It's a really clever bit of writing, isn't it? It's complex. It tugs at your sympathies, gives this compelling, awful backstory for the fake name and the guy. Like, she has them for protection to escape this abusive past.
Right, it explains those things.
It explains why she might have them, but does it really excuse everything? Especially the affair with Archie, who's, a minor.
That's the big question.
It forces you to wrestle with the show's tricky morality. Does having a traumatic past give you a pass for manipulating someone, even a teenager?
Yep.
And Archie, bless his loyal, maybe naive heart, he completely buys it. He gets super protective, right? Believing I'm all she has right now. He tries to shield her, insists she's not a killer.
Typical Archie, jumping in to save someone.
Totally highlights his naivete, that hero complex again. It's a pattern with him, and it often leads him deeper into trouble. But Betty, with her detective brain fully switched on, she's not buying it.
She warns him.
She warns him, tells him straight up he's in over your head, which turns out to be chillingly accurate.
And then things escalate even more, right? With the Coopers.
Oh yeah, the climax is pure drama. Alice and Hal Cooper, bringing their own brand of righteous fury, confront Fred Andrews about Archie and Grundy. Alice just goes off calling Grundy a child predator, threatening to blast it all over the local paper, inform our neighbors.
Alice Cooper does not mess around.
Not at all. And this pushes Betty to her absolute limit. It leads to one of the most intense, most powerful moments in the whole script. She throws down this ultimatum to her own mother.
What did she say?
She says, publish one word about this, Mom, and I will tell everyone that I broke into Mrs. Grundy's car, that I robbed her and made up the story of their affair. You'll be like, I finally snapped, like Polly.
Whoa, like Polly, that sounds loaded.
Incredibly loaded. We'll definitely come back to that. But this thread, this chilling reference, it works. It completely stops Alice in her tracks, and it forces Mrs. Grundy's hand. She agrees to quit my job, pack up my things, I'll be gone by morning.
So she's just gone,
Yeah.
forced out.
Yep, a swift expulsion. It solves the immediate crisis for the main kids, gets her out of Riverdale for now. But man, does leave a ton of questions hanging in the air.
Okay, so Grundy or Jennifer Gibson is out of the picture. I got it. But what does this mean for Archie? Especially his music. She was his mentor, right? The one who believed in me when no one else did.
She saw his potential, yeah.
So does his music just fizzle out now? Or does this whole traumatic thing maybe fuel his art in a new way?
Right.
Or does he just kind of spiral?
It's a huge question for his character arc. And what about her past? Does Jennifer Gibson just disappear? Or is this just chapter 1 for her? Could she still be linked to Jason Blossom somehow, especially since she taught him?
Yeah, that teaching connection feels important.
And the gun. We can't forget the gun. Her story about the husband makes sense for having it, maybe? But it's still a gun, found in her car. It feels like Chekhov's gun, right? It has to come back somehow.
Yeah.
2, the demise of the Twilight Drive-In and shady dealings.
Okay, so while all this personal drama with Archie and Grundy is unfolding, there's this larger thing happening in Riverdale. This sense of decay, stripping away another piece of the town's history and revealing some even darker stuff underneath.
Yeah, the whole drive-in situation.
Exactly. Let's shift focus to the Twilight Drive-In. It's closing down, and this is huge, especially for Jughead. He's our narrator, and this place means everything to him. He calls it my home away from home, a piece of town history.
You can really feel his connection to it.
Totally. You feel his loss, his anger. He sees it closing not just as bad business, but as one more nail in the coffin that is Riverdale. In the coffin of the American dream.
Strong words.
He's genuinely pissed off. So it's not just about losing my job. He thinks people should be trying to save it. It's more than just a building for him. It's a cultural symbol.
Jughead's connection to the drive-in is so symbolic, and it really defines him as that kind of cynical outsider, right? For him, closing isn't just business, it's like the death of an era, the end of that innocent Riverdale he seems to desperately want back. It's like a physical sign of the town falling apart, the nice facade crumbling. And you see that contrast so clearly when Mayor McCoy just dismisses it, calls it a blight, a cesspool, a hangout for criminals.
Total opposite perspective.
Completely. It highlights that clash between nostalgia and the sort of gritty reality. But Jughead's view is intensely personal. It reflects his own feeling of being an outcast, of being left behind. He even shares that really touching story, right? That memory from when he was a kid.
Oh yeah, about sneaking in.
Yeah. When I was a kid, my family and I would go to the drive-in all the time. We couldn't afford tickets for everyone, so my sister Jellybean and I would hide in the trunk until we parked. We'd sneak out.
Oh, that's kind of sweet, actually.
It really shows how much of his identity, his good memories, his sense of belonging are tied up in that place. So losing it, it's a major loss for him, way more than just a job. It cements his role as the town's observer, watching it all fall apart.
And then there's the mystery around why it's closing. This anonymous buyer who made Mayor McCoy an offer she couldn't refuse.
Yeah, immediately suspicious.
And then, plot twist. Fred Andrews' construction company, Archie's dad, won the contract to tear down the drive-in starting Monday.
Oof. That puts Fred in a really awkward spot, especially with Jughead.
Yeah, it immediately makes Fred look, in Jughead's eyes anyway, like part of the problem. Part of the force is destroying something important.
And that confrontation between Jughead and Fred, it's so loaded. It's like a mini snapshot of the class issues, the generational tension bubbling up in Riverdale.
How does it go down?
Jughead is clearly hurt, feels betrayed, not just because Fred's tearing down the drive-in, but because Fred had already fired Jughead's dad for supposedly taking materials from one of our job sites.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Adds another layer.
Exactly. So Jughead sees Fred, this respected guy, as totally complicit. He's cynical, saying Fred's just doing what you had to do like you're doing here now.
Ouch.
Yeah, there's this deep sense of hypocrisy, of betrayal for Jughead. He already feels pushed to the margins, ignored by the town's powerful people. He sees Fred's actions as just another example of adults prioritizing profit over community, over history, over people like his family.
Yeah, that makes sense from his perspective.
It really fuels his cynicism about Riverdale. It's not just about a building. It's about trust eroding, about the economic unfairness just laid bare.
But then, the real reason behind the drive-in closing comes out. And it's a bombshell, revealing the corruption that's, like, festering right under the surface.
Yes. Enter Cheryl Blossom.
Of course. In her usual style, part mean girl, part surprisingly effective informant, she exposes Hermione Lodge.
What does she do?
She shows Veronica this picture. Hermione talking to a Southside serpent last night in the alley behind Pops. And Cheryl calls it an extremely heated, intimate discussion.
Whoa. Okay, that's bad for Hermione's image.
It's the first big public crack in her whole respectable facade. It suggests the Lodge family problems are way bigger than just Hiram being locked up.
Definitely. So Veronica confronts her mom, right?
Yeah. And Hermione tries to brush off at first, gives this flimsy excuse about the serpent making a lewd comment and her putting him in his place.
Doesn't sound convincing.
Not at all. And the truth, like it always seems to in Riverdale, comes spilling out. Hermione finally confesses. And it's shocking.
What's the real story? Hiram Lodge, from jail. He hired the Southside Serpents to help decrease the value of the drive-in's land so he could purchase it at a cheaper price using an offshore LLC.
Get out. Hiram's the anonymous buyer.
Bingo. He's not just the buyer. He's this criminal mastermind manipulating the town's real estate from his jail cell. And Hermione. She was just the go-between, paying them for a job well done, acting as his proxy.
Wow, that is audacious.
And then Hermione tries to justify it all to Veronica, reminding her of their lavish past. Did you like living at the Dakota with the Central Park view? Your Hermes. That was our life, Ronnie, provided to us by your father.
Trying to make Veronica complicit, almost.
Exactly. Forcing Veronica to confront the dirty reality behind their fancy lifestyle, the huge moral compromises her family made. This isn't just about Hiram's crazy reach, his ruthlessness, seeing an opportunity and just taking it, screw the consequences.
Yeah.
It's also about the corrupting influence of money and power in Riverdale. It sets up these massive economic conflicts we're bound to see more of.
Absolutely. And what does this mean for Hermione and Veronica now? They're tangled up in this. Especially Veronica, knowing the truth about her family's criminal dealings. How does she handle that? 3, lingering mysteries and shifting dynamics. Okay, so the dust is kind of settling from the Grundy mess and the drive-in getting torn down. But we have to swing back to the big one, the mystery that started it all. Jason Blossom's murder.
The original sin, yeah.
Miss Grundy's gone, sure. But her connection to Jason, she taught him, he was an inspiration, apparently. And the fact that she was definitely at the river that morning, it still hangs there, doesn't it? It feels almost too neat for her to just leave and have that be the end of it.
It absolutely feels too neat. And that's probably deliberate, right? Narratively speaking. Her leaving clears the suspect from Archie and Betty's minds, maybe. But it doesn't solve Jason's murder at all.
Not even close.
If anything, it just adds another layer of complication. It leaves this big question mark instead of a period.
Yeah.
And that gun. Even with her story about the abusive husband, it's still a physical object, a loose end.
Did the cops even find out about the gun? Or her real name?
We don't know. That's the thing. With her gone, the official investigation might look elsewhere. But her past connection to Jason, the timing, that could easily resurface later, couldn't it? Especially if the real killer gets closer.
True.
Also, think about the Southside Serpents. Their presence is now confirmed. They're directly linked to Hiram Lodge's shady dealings. That significantly widens the pool of potential suspects or complications around Jason's death. Right?
Yeah, it pulls the murder out of just, like, high school drama.
Exactly. It suggests maybe Jason's death is tied into this whole criminal underbelly of Riverdale, something bigger than just a personal motive. It makes it more of a complex crime thriller.
And that last night at the drive-in, it wasn't just an ending. It was also a place for new beginnings, new connections. Some really interesting ones.
Mm-hmm.
Most notably, Kevin Keller. He has this secret meeting with Joaquin, who we know is a Southside Serpent. It happens back in the woods, hits a Kevin sword date with Veronica. That little moment feels loaded.
Oh, it's hugely significant. It kicks off this new forbidden romance subplot, which is both exciting and, obviously full of potential danger.
How does it happen?
Joaquin just says, "I'm Joaquin, by the way. Give me your phone. This is my number. Use it." And Kevin's reaction when Joaquin clicks who he is, Kevin Keller, as in Sheriff Keller. Is that a problem? Is this a problem? I won't tell if you won't.
Ooh, the secrecy is immediate. Sheriff's son and a serpent.
Exactly. It instantly suggests the secret relationship that's bound to cause trouble. It adds another layer of hidden lives in Riverdale, showing even characters who seem straightforward have secrets, desires they keep hidden.
Yeah.
What does it say about Kevin? Looking for connection outside his usual circle, especially given who his dad is. And how does it tie into the serpents who we now know are tangled up with Hiram?
Right, the timing is interesting.
Yeah, this new dynamic pops up just as the drive-in closes. It hints at more secrets, more danger, especially for the sheriff's family. Could Joaquin's serpent connections, maybe through Hiram, somehow intersect with Jason's murder?
Could bring Kevin dangerously close to it.
Potentially, yeah. It's got that classic Romeo and Juliet vibe, but with a dark Riverdale twist.
And finally, we absolutely have to dig into that intense Cooper family drama. It was chilling.
Yeah, it really was.
We saw Alice Cooper just go nuclear on Archie and Mrs. Grundy, calling them child predators, threatening to expose them in the paper, basically ruin their lives. It was this shocking display of fury, and it felt like it came from somewhere much deeper than just concern for Archie.
Oh, absolutely. And that leads directly to maybe the most defining, most chilling moment in the whole script for Betty's character.
Her threat to her mom.
Yes. Betty, totally desperate to protect Archie and Grundy from Alice's rampage, just lays it down with this incredible force. Publish one word about this mom, and I will tell everyone that I broke into Mrs. Grundy's car, that I robbed her, and made up the story of their affair. It will be like, I finally snapped, like Polly.
Snap, like Polly. That line gives me chills.
It's a monumental line. It's the key to unlocking so much about Betty going forward. That reference to Polly, who Alice herself mentions, keeps so many secrets, and who we know isn't living at home. It's incredibly ominous.
What does it suggest?
It strongly suggests this really traumatic family history. It implies that phrase Alice uses, crazy runs in that family, might be something Betty deeply fears about herself, that she could end up like Polly, whatever that means.
Well.
And her other line, I am Elizabeth, I am not Polly, Archie is not Jason, so stop using them as an excuse to control my life. That's her fighting for her own identity, pushing back against her mother's suffocating control.
It's more than just teen angst.
Way more. It's a breaking point. She weaponizes her family's secrets against her own mother. It absolutely foreshadows this darker, more volatile side of Betty. That hidden intensity, it's going to drive her investigations, complicate everything. This is the moment Dark Betty really emerges.
Okay, that snap moment. It leaves us with so many questions, doesn't it? Like, what is the secret about Polly that Alice is so desperate to protect? The secret Betty used against her.
Exactly. What happened to Polly?
And what does Polly's situation really tell us about Betty's own psychology? Her need for control, maybe. Her potential for going to extremes.
Yeah, how will this confrontation change her relationship with Alice, her own mental state, her approach to finding the truth?
Is this snap just a one-off outburst? Or is this the beginning of something deeper, something darker in Betty? Could it lead her down a more dangerous path as she keeps digging?
It really feels like we've only just scratched the surface of the Cooper family secrets. That drama is far from over. Outro.
Wow. Okay, what an incredible deep dive that was.
Yeah.
We've pulled out so much from just this one script. The truth about Mrs. Grundy, Jennifer Gibson, her past. Hiram Lodge's absolutely ruthless scheming to get the drive-in, all orchestrated from jail.
Unbelievable.
And just this growing, tangled web of secrets connecting everyone, the adults, the kids, everyone seems caught up in it.
And it all comes together, doesn't it? It paints this really clear picture of a town that is definitively losing its innocence, shedding that wholesome image.
Yeah.
The forbidden affair, the shady real estate deals, all the personal secrets coming out, they're all linked. They're stripping away Riverdale's nostalgic facade, and the drive-in closing. It's more than just a building coming down. For Jughead, for the town, it feels symbolic.
Like the end of an era.
Exactly. The end of an era, the death of a certain dream, and the chilling start of a much darker, more complicated chapter for Riverdale. One where old landmarks are torn down for new, questionable projects built on greed.
Okay, so, prediction time. Based on everything we've unpacked from Chapter 4, what's next? Let's start with Archie. Grundy's gone. What's the fallout for him? Emotionally, artistically.
Does he find his own voice now without her kind of complicated influence? Or does losing her, even with all the issues, send him spiraling? Does it hurt his music, or maybe paradoxically fuel it?
Good question. And Jughead. The drive-in demolition must hit him hard. How does he cope with losing his home away from home?
Yeah, that's a huge blow for him personally. And what does Hiram Lodge build there? Is it just another business, or is it something that further cements his control, changes Riverdale's landscape even more?
And what about Hermione and Veronica? Now that they know the dirty truth, especially Veronica, how do they navigate being complicit in Hiram's schemes?
That knowledge has to drive a wedge between them, right? Especially for Veronica. How does she reconcile her conscience with her family's criminal empire? Where do her loyalties end up?
Okay, back to Jason's murder. Grundy's gone. The gun might be forgotten. Where does the investigation go? Do new leads pop up?
Do they ever circle back to Grundy's connection to Jason? Or does the focus shift now maybe towards the serpents? Thanks to Hiram's involvement, does the murder investigation get pulled into organized crime?
And Betty's snap, that Polly reference. What are the ripple effects there? How does it change things with Alice? What does it really mean about the Cooper family secrets?
And does this darker side of Betty become more prominent? Does it help her investigation or put her in more danger? It feels like a really critical turning point for her character.
Totally. And finally, Kevin and Joaquin, that secret meeting in the woods. How does that forbidden relationship play out?
Does it complicate things for Sheriff Keller? Does it pull Kevin into the serpent world, closer to danger, maybe even closer to the Jason investigation through unexpected channels? So many potential conflicts there.
Okay, so after processing all of that, what does this deep dive in Chapter 4 really signal for Riverdale and its residents moving forward?
Well, Betty writes something really interesting in her diary, reflecting on everything she did, breaking into the car, the threats. She writes, "Dear Diary, love makes you do crazy things, and maybe some of what I did was wrong, but maybe I was right about some things too." And that, I think, leaves us with a really important question, not just about Riverdale, but maybe about life, right? In a world overflowing with information, where loyalties get tested constantly, everywhere, how do you tell the difference between what's actually right and what just feels right in the heat of the moment? Especially when the people you care about, your family, your friends, are on the line, how do you even navigate that?
In sport, it's been a record-breaking season for roller derby, with the sport seeing its highest ever viewing figures and also its fair share of money.